So this is our code that we have written. So how many of you have tried this code?
Can you share screen, Raju?
Sure. How many of you have taken this code and used it? Have you tried anything on it or not? There are no pull requests. Okay. If you haven't tried, just make a pull request. And I'm seeing some issues while pulling a request. Um, can anyone share their screen who are having issue while making a pull request or fetch upstream? Let's take 5 minutes to correct them and then we'll close. In the morning, someone was pinging me in the WhatsApp group as well. Are we good? Can I assume that there is no? Please unmute and talk if you are having issue. Okay, I'm assuming that there is no issue and you are able to get all the codes. Yeah. Let's see with this current code. Okay, till now, whatever we have done, let's go to files, and then let's go with what? Delete. And let's see with the projects. Week 2, requirement document is fine. We created a visual diagram, right? Where is it? Visio. Okay, I think that's not there.
We have not created the visual diagram for the week 2 projects. That we created only week 1.
Not sure, but yeah, let's continue. Maybe we can just start with a new diagram. Even that will work. So new visual diagram. So this one again, I'm just checking on this particular flow only. So in RE framework, flowchart. So whatever we are creating over here, this is what we will recreate, and we will see what is as is process and what is to be processed. So I just create it inside projects week 2. New visual drawing. So read framework, performer and dispatcher. So what is performer, what is dispatcher, and what is performer? Can anyone just type in, or you can also unmute and talk? So what is the difference between dispatcher and performer? Please unmute and talk. Dispatcher will add the data to queue. Okay.
Performer get the data from.
process.
Dispatcher will create the cases and load it to the
Uh,
queue and
Rishi, your voice is not proper. You need to check with your mic, Rishi. Either you come near, keep your mic near your mouth and talk, or else see, because every time you try to talk, this is what is happening. Performer will process the data to queue. Okay. Rishi, you want to give it a try?
yeah, but I think my mic issue.
Try, try. Try now once.
The performer will read the dispatcher will load the cases in the queue by taking it from input, and performer will be performing those cases one by one.
Or can you say that performer will consume the item?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see how what we have done now quickly. So let's start. So this is start. Okay. I'm just using whatever I can. So this is start. Okay. So from start, what are we trying to do? We are trying to read information, read range, and once we read the values, we are trying to add items to queue. So both these items can be we are trying to take as so if you can take this. So can we take both of these as dispatcher?
Yes.
Okay. So all it's doing is it is trying to read the information, nothing else. Okay. Now after completing the dispatching, what exactly is happening? We are trying to get one item. Get one item and then work on this. So this is perform. Work on it. So can we say this as performer?
Yes.
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 So here we are talking about so if you can observe everything is in single workflow. So we have a start, we have a stop, everything comes under single workflow and everything is inside one particular activity or one particular project. Now if we go, so can we take or how can we divide this process into multiple processes? So again, I'll just take the complete process. I'll not again, just you need to understand how to divide the code, nothing else. So instead of getting one item, after adding the items to queue, can I just close it without working on anything? If I can just close it,
Yes.
design, auto size, diagram layout. So what exactly is happening? I start, I read a range, I add items to queue and then stop, nothing else. So can we say that this is only a dispatcher process?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's not consuming any queue. It's just adding items to queue. Now here there is a catch. Now while adding items to queue or while reading the data, I have already asked you, what if there are already items to queue? So decision, if I can take a decision over here. So I'll start, I will decide whether I will just get items, get new items in queue. Okay, if new equal to 0, it means that there are no new items. New equal to 0, then read range and stop. So if we already have some items, do we need to read range again?
No.
No, right? So I can just go ahead and map it to right and say new greater than 0. So if their new items are greater than 0, it just means that there is no need to add more items into the queue. So can we apply the same logic over here before reading range? So yesterday what exactly have happened is, while I'm trying to read the data or when I'm trying to get the data, every time I run this process, it started reading and started executing. But what if I have something like this? I have a condition, and before this if condition there is get queue items. Okay, so in this get queue items, config of orchestrator queue dot toString. So what this exactly giving? It is giving me some values, but I want only few items that are in new. If it is in new, only those items you can get it from. And the reference, it can be like this, and control K, enumerable of queue items. So why enumerable? If you can hover on this, enter, if you can hover on this, it is giving me enumerable of queue items. Okay, so enumerable is a collection data type. Now if a string, then it will be in characters, combination of characters. If it is integer, that is a number. So like enumerable is a collection of queue items. Now it will have property enumerable of queue items dot count. If it is greater than, if it is equal to 0, then go ahead and read the range and add items to queue. So if it is show else log message. So if we already have information, is in queue, don't add new items. So what I'm telling, okay, if there is any new item, just go ahead and don't add anything. So that's what we are trying to do over here. Just make sure you name them properly so that when you are debugging, it will be easier for you. So debug now. So what will happen? Will my code execute and add items to queue or not? No. Speak out, please. Will my code execute or not?
If there is no cases in the queue, then
Not
it will going to load the cases.
Exactly. So you need not say yes or right, yes or no. You can just give out an answer stating that if there are no queue items, then it will add. If there are queue items, then it will not add. Okay. I think this is throwing an error. Let's go ahead and try with UiPath Studio. So this is a dispatcher process. Now what about performer? So again, I'll take the same code. Now the best thing that I'll do is when I try to create a solution, I will not create everything from new. I'll just take the existing items and whatever that's required, I'll place, or else others I will just remove. So if you can just delete these two, delete these two. So all it's trying to do, even this one we don't require. Connectors. Okay. Okay. Start. Okay. So what's happening? It's starting, it's getting one item, work on it. But here, can we write a decision box something like this? Decision, new item exists. Or else you can also do something like this. Get one item. Got new item. If we got a new item, then work on it. If we don't get a new item, then what should we do?
Go back and fetch it again.
If there are no new items, so you can stop it.
Okay, the stop.
Okay. So don't overthink on the solution. Just make it as simple as possible. So you're getting get one item. If you got a new item, then work on it. If after completion of working on it, again you can get a new item. Or you can just map it like after getting new item, again map it to here. Okay. So irrespective of what it is, working on it, I think you can delete from here. So now you can see the logic and you can see the map now. So from start, it is getting one item. If I get a new item, then work on it. And again, after completion of it, again get one more item. If I got a new item, then work on it. Or no, this is no, no need to work on this. So stop. Okay. So this is how I'll just write the code. So dispatcher. So this same diagram, we divided it into dispatcher and performer code. Now let's see the same thing. Okay. Now here is our process contains complete dispatcher and performer? Does it contain both performer and dispatcher or not?
Yes, yes.
yes, yes.
So what we can do, we can just go ahead and create a separate dispatcher and create a separate performer. So
Vajram,
robotic
one
enterprise.
doubt here.
Yeah, tell me.
For each day, there is a like client is sending only one Excel file to process those records,
Mhm.
and we have already completed it. So again, by mistakenly, bot has triggered. Then it will again process, right? So
Exactly.
can we write the can we write the config file where it's write the like this file is already processed, so it will not going to take it again. Bot is ran mistakenly also.
So the best practice that we normally do in a daily enterprise work is, let's assume that there is a file that's given in a specific folder. So after the bot reads it, it will move it from the input location to a different location, or in progress location, or completed location, so that the same file will not be available for the next run.
Okay. And if there is a we are accessing the data from any website for processing it, that time what we need to do?
Okay, if you are getting the same data, then again, if you don't want to iterate or repeat it, we have a queue, and in queues we have something called reference, where we can make a unique items.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll just try to show you what is what. So this is my RE framework training, and here we'll just try to create. Okay, so the same code will divide it into multibot framework. So if someone asks you, have you worked on multibot framework, just bluntly say that yes, I worked on multibot framework. We are using one dispatcher, and we are using multiple performers, where dispatcher is writing adding items to the queue, while performer is trying to consume the data from the queue. Okay, create. So for the ease, what I'm trying to do, or what I'll do is, the robotic
What
enterprise framework, I'll just
then
copy
multi-pass
the
means? Yeah, we need multi-mission, right? Multi-pass means
multibot means.
every bot have every single mission, right?
Every bot has what? Can you repeat it? Can you type in it? That's possible.
In every machine.
Yeah, in every machine, the bot will run, but every
Okay,
bot will consume a single queue.
okay.
Okay, if this is my machine, I'm a dispatcher. Let's assume that we have Charan and Rishi. If both are running, both will consume a single queue. First item can be taken by Charan, and he can execute it for 1 minute. Second item can be taken by Rishi. So Rishi completes it earlier. So before Charan completes it, Rishi actually completed it within 10 seconds. So Rishi will not wait for Charan to complete. He will again go to orchestrator queue and get a new item and try to complete the item. So irrespective of what the other bots are doing, our robot or one robot will only try to get a queue item from orchestrator. Okay, understood? Not understood? What exactly? Okay, let's move forward. So here we have dispatcher process, data. So see, we have too many folders now. Dot folders you can ignore. Orchestrator queue. So this is process ABC queue. That's what it's giving. So what I'll do, I'll just go ahead, go here. Okay, UiPath assistant, or I can just go with UiPath. cloud.uipath.com. See, I'm not talking anything about too much of code. We are talking about ideas. We are talking about the way how to execute the code. We are talking about how to design a process or a solution. So in the interview, if you are given a situation and if you want to answer it, don't just go into the code and say that, okay, I will write this activity. Just talk to them, understand what is the requirement. Do they require multi-bot environment or a single environment? What exactly and how exactly are they willing to proceed? So if you can just make a quick information gathering, then interview will be much more easier. So here we are having process ABC queue, sample queue, close. And what I will also do is I will copy the same thing. This is dispatcher, right? So I will copy this and I will paste it here again. So now if you can see, this is dispatcher copy. I'll just rename it as performer. Okay. Now this is my dispatcher code. So again, there can be a situation where you cannot just add items to orchestrator queue. So do we really require a RE framework to work with this dispatcher? There are only two activities. Do we require RE framework to work on those two activities? Can't we just write a project with single file uh, where we have two activities?
Yes, we can write it in a sequence also.
Correct. But the problem that will happen is when we do such activity, let's assume that there are 1,000 records. Bot tries to add all the items, but using bulk add queue items, there will be multiple issues that we need to observe. So I'm just closing this one. Hope everyone understood this. So let's go ahead and try to understand or try to add the nodes. This we'll see anyhow, but again, uh, what exactly are we trying to do now? Converting a process with both dispatcher and performer to a multibot architecture. Okay, now if we activate or if we just see, here we have June framework, right? Edit. If we enforce unique references using bulk add queue items, we will not be able to add queue items to orchestrator queue. Okay, that is one catch. If we have unique reference in orchestrator queue setup, then using bulk add queue items, you will not be able to add items to orchestrator queue, because when we are using unique references, we also need to send a reference in the input. With bulk add queue items, we will not be able to send individual references to individual items. Let's stop it. I'll try to explain you what exactly I meant with this one. Just let's see how things are moving in. So this is my flow chart. Again, going back. So here I'm reading the range and I'm just processing the information. Okay. But if I need to add items to orchestrator queue, what exactly am I doing? So if you go ahead and let's try to delete this one. June RE framework code, June RE framework sample, copy, remove, yes, add queue. sample queue. I'll just open my sheet and I will just confirm if it is correct or not. June framework sample queue. Okay, and enforce unique references. So when I am enforcing unique references, let's see what and how things will happen. Add new properties. Okay, add items. Now when I try to add the same, like I haven't changed any code, I'll just try to run the same code. We have bulk add queue items in here. Let's have a breakpoint. Debug. It said bulk add queue item, step into. Why did it fail? References required for unique reference queues. So using bulk add queue items, if you see in the properties, all we are sending is we are sending a table and we are sending nothing else, queue name. Other than that, we are not sending anything. But if you are using unique references, you need to send every item with a reference. So how can we do that? So instead of doing this, let's add for each loop, for each row and data table. Now for each row, this is DT transaction data, and here add queue item, and in this add queue item, you need to send in properties. Okay, item collection is, let's say, what is the value? Okay, here item collection will be file name and input, and this is current row of 0 dot toString. Okay, and if you observe here, this is the queue name, and here we are going to send the same queue name over here, queue name, and if you observe here, reference, this is what we need to give. So for now I'm just giving out reference as key name, like whatever key we are getting over here, I'm assuming that that is unique reference and I am giving it over here. Okay, so do we need bulk add queue items again?
No.
No.
Okay, so I can delete this one. So and now I can just go ahead, have a breakpoint, debug file. See, we will be progressing with our solution step by step. It's not like I will use only this activity and it will be completed. For every situation, there is a logic. For every logic, there is an activity. Just try to go with this one. Stopping it. Okay. Oh, this should work. Okay. Debug again. Okay, now if you see, it came into add queue item. If you just use step into, then what will happen in June framework? View transaction. How many items are added?
1.
1. And what is the reference that we have? A.
A.
Okay. So let's continue. I'll just remove the breakpoint and I'll just continue. I'll stop. I think few items are added. Okay, these are the items that are added, around 9 items. The one item is already moved to in progress. Now if I run the bot again, so will it add items to orchestrator queue?
Right now it will not add because we have given the reference. I think.
So what we will do is, let's go ahead and run everything. Okay. So when we run everything, it will not add new items, but it will take all the items from orchestrator queue, right? Success, success, success. So all the items are added. Now, if I try to debug it again, just see debug. So there are no new items. So it should add new items. Let's see if it is adding or not. Step into. So now why is it not adding?
Unique reference item.
So there is a duplicate reference and that is the error. So it will not check each and every field in the queue item. It will check only the reference, if the reference is duplicated or not, because there can be thousands of records, and in thousands of records there can be multiple key value pairs. We need not check everything, right? If we can just check with the reference, then it should be working. Okay, so that is the explanation for this particular activity, converting a process with multibot architecture. Okay, if we
What's
have, sorry,
here one doubt.
yeah,
If there is a multiple field in the Excel file, we
okay,
can add like unique value for the reference only, right? While loading the cases.
sorry, I didn't get you.
We are loading the cases in the queue, right? That time there is a multiple columns. Only unique column reference we need to use there.
Yes, to get the correct answer, you need to use unique column reference. Sometimes what we can have, what we do in normally is a single column. For example, this can be one of the scenario. In the input file, let's see data training in data. So in the input, so file name can be duplicated. A D G G E. So now when this is something like this, we cannot add unique references, right? Because the data is duplicated. So we will also see with one more column. Like if it is a data, then we will not have only one column, right? So content. So now what will happen? Instead of adding file name alone in reference, we will add file name plus content as a reference. So here we go. Let's stop. Properties, collection, content, current row of 1 dot toString. So instead of having only one item reference, I will just add or concatenate.
We can add multiple also. Okay, I thought
Yes.
we can add only one reference.
No, but altogether it's only one. If you can see, these both will be combined and it will come as AQ. this is one single unique reference. This is AW. Instead of using AA, we are adding multiple. The unique reference is our requirement. We can add as we want. Okay, but that should be logical and that should be understandable for future use. I cannot randomly take any reference, and because if I take any random number, then what is the use of having data? Step into. Now add
Can we
queue
add
item.
3 also?
Cannot find column 1. I don't think this is data input sample X. Let's see with this activity. Data, refresh, data input sample.
So you haven't saved the file.
Is it so? Thank you. So this is content. Okay, debug. Step into. Now, what is the reference that we are getting? A combined value is a reference. Okay, in this way, we can identify like composite queue. This is a composite key now, but to our activity or to our reference, it's just a single value. If I just search for a queue, I can just find out the value or find out the queue, what exactly and where exactly it is. Okay, so that is the reason we use references to make sure that there is only one item. So earlier someone asked if there is a input, how can I make sure that the input data from the website is not duplicated? Like if you can identify the URL will be unique for every product. If you can add URL or the ID of the product, then it will be easier. Okay. Now this is AQ. If I just ignore, everything is done. Okay. Understood? Not understood? What exactly is?
Yes. Got it,
Yeah,
Vajra. Thanks.
Okay. Now there is one single thing that we are missing over here. Here I clearly mentioned like we can just use a for loop and we can add items to orchestrator queue. Then why do we need RE framework? Sophisticated RE framework with all the exception handling, get transaction data, process transaction data. Why do we actually need it? Is what my question is. If someone can answer it, then I'll be very happy. Just take 2 minutes, understand why RE framework and try to answer it. I'll be on it.
Like if one data fails, so it can retrieve the next transaction instead of completely stopping the process. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Charan, you
Yes,
are right.
Charan.
Yes, audible, but Vajrang muted.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, actually, if one transaction fails, so instead of completely stopping the process, so when we use this RE framework, like we can continue for the next transactions.
We can also do that using try catch block, right? If we can just add queue item to try catch block, even that will work. Why RE framework?
If we use the RE framework, it's easy for a maintenance if there is any changes coming into the process.
See, if it is only 3 activities, then also it is easy to maintain. There are only 3 activities that you are using: read range, for loop, upload item to orchestrator queue. Why RE framework?
Like if you want to change the code or the queue or any URLs, so we can do it in the config file. So instead of
You said it correct, but not the way how it should be said. See, we are reading the data from Excel, but every time we will not have Excel as an input. Okay, so sometimes we may have a website where we need to loop in through all the pages, and then we need to add items to our structure. Sometimes there can be a situation where we have hundreds of files, and we need to process each file, and after processing each file we need to add items to our orchestrator queue, and then we need to move the files to different locations. So our dispatcher is not only about RE framework, or RE framework is not only to work on performer activities. RE framework is just a template. It depends on how exactly, where exactly you use the solution is what makes a difference. Am I clear or not clear? If you want me to explain it again, I can explain it again. Maya says reframework can retry failed transactions, reinitialize apps, handle exceptions appropriately without need for human interaction. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You cannot always say that human interaction will never be there. But yeah, with RE framework, current RE framework configuration, no human interaction is required. Okay, let's assume. So what you guys can do is, how many of you have completed advanced developer certification of UiPath, client security hash, and uh, yearly report generation? How many of you have completed it? None of you have completed. I'm hoping that none of you have completed. So take this weekend. Tomorrow we'll have session though. Is it Friday for you today?
Yes.
Okay, so tomorrow there will not be
Yes.
session for you. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday, check with one URL that I'm trying to give you and try to code as it is available in the academy.uipath.com. See, each and every topic that I'm telling you to do, you should never miss any kind of instruction that I'm giving you. My courses, learning by role, RP developer, citizen starter, RP developer foundation. Learning plan curriculum. No, not this.
advanced one, advanced
Yeah,
RP
I'm
advanced.
just checking on advanced. Yeah, this one. Okay, here you need to build 2 projects. So practice on RE framework, orchestrator queues. Enroll. So practice with RE framework. Yeah, these 2. So practice with RE framework. I want you to complete this activity at any cost. Sit together. I need at least one solution from all the team members, but you should sit and you should work. I need everyone to complete this particular activity. If you are able to complete this practice with RE framework, you will get advanced developer certification directly from UiPath that you can get. So if you can complete, I can go to the next item, because along with what I say, you should also know what you need to do. The best part of this one is client security hash. If you can just go, and you can also see the process design document. You can understand and read what is process design document. Exercise hints. I'm not getting it. Yeah. So start module, and you can download all the activities.
Arjun, have you shared your screen?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, we can visible.
Yes, I have shared my screen. Anyhow, see, learning path viewer, this is fine, but I want you to, the solution is also available, by the way. If you open this one, client access hints, open. So if you can download this particular file, open. Solution is also given on how to work on this. Okay, whiteboard your workflows, edit configuration file. In the settings config sheet, store important items like URL for system1 credentials, URL SHA1 online, business process name. Everything is available here. So sit and work. If you see here, access hints, what exactly and how exactly we'll get system1 login, what we need to do, precondition, post condition, arguments. You can also see what are the arguments that you need to add to every workflow. Okay, so this is a string and this is a string. System1.close, there is nothing you need to give. System1 navigate to dashboard in system1 URL. So you can also check videos online, get anything you want, you do, but get this completed. Okay, it's very important to show certifications in your resumes to get that extra edge. Okay, I have completed certification now. I know that I can do it. You too will have a great confidence on yourself. I'm stopping the recording.